Mission 250.
Mission 250. That's what we are.
Hey.
It's a Filmcast, a podcast.
Is that what it is?
Everywhere that you listen
That
to your
was like the
podcast,
most
you can
succinct
find us.
intro we've ever done.
We were like, a quartet there. Quartet.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the right word.
Yeah.
For three people.
Yeah.
No.
John got the low pitch, and then Denny, you get
If
the
you need
medium, and I'll get
four.
the high.
So what do you call it when there's just
Yeah.
three? Is there such a thing?
A trio?
A trio. Thank you. No, I was thinking thirtet.
A quartet minus one.
Yeah.
A trio.
That's right.
Anyway, what are we watching today, Denny? Who are you?
We're watching a movie, Three Colors White. It's the second movie in a trilogy, the Three Colors trilogy, believe it or not.
That's right.
Directed by the same guy, can't pronounce his name of. I apologize there, whatever. This week, we're going to get right into it. John
All right,
selected
let's
his
go.
trilogy. It's TC's turn to go
I
first.
did.
What did you think of the second one, TC?
Well, my girl, Julie Delpy.
What?
How
From your
you
favorite
doing?
movie,
Oh,
Before
One of my
Sunrise?
favorite French
From before-
actors out there.
that's true. There you
That's,
go.
that
that had to make you happy.
and also the smoking man from the X-Files.
Oh, is that
Who's that?
Yeah,
Really?
dude, it dawned on me about halfway through. I'm like, shit, that's a young smoking man from the X-Files. I'm pretty sure. I'm going on a limb. We're going to find out because I'm sure Danny will find out.
Wait,
But-
who? The main character?
Friend? No,
so,
no.
the guy that wants to be shot.
McCoy?
really?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
He was good. I liked him.
The smoking man.
William B. Davis?
Is that him?
No. I've got his name was John
Damn.
Januzzi Janus Gajos.
But so it's not the same guy because the smoking man is William B. Davis and the guy from this
Damn.
movie is
okay.
Well, I got
Polish
that
guy.
wrong, but it looks just like
It
him.
kinda
Could be
does.
his brother.
very grumpy looking, kind of jowly, got that steely
Yeah,
stare.
right? All right. Well,
Yeah.
I was wrong about that. But anyways, we'll go with the first one.
Yeah, no,
That's all
you were
right.
right there.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on in this story.
that's for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't leave you feeling very good. It's pretty fucked up what they do to each other, I have to say. At one point, I was really like, this guy's genius. He goes and buys the house, steals their money, goes and buys the house, and then sells it back to them for 10 times the price. Oh, that was great. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. I don't know if it was a little bit different than the first one, I have to say.
Yeah.
A lot different.
It was a lot different. It was more of a narrative for sure, less artsy at some points. But then there was
Definitely, yeah.
some stuff they tried to do that I don't know landed that well, like the white frame when she orgasms.
Oh my god, dude!
Mm.
I was gonna say I burst out laughing. The only time I laughed
Yeah.
the entire movie, I would burst it out.
I was like, what
It
was
was
that?
hilarious. It was
yeah,
so over
I
the
was
top.
like, wow, that was a simple trick, but sure.
Okay.
I thought Julie Delpy was her usual self. That kind of brooding, pouty
Right.
French girl. So nothing new there. But I still liked her character for the sole sense that it just made him a nut. And he really went through quite a bit during this movie. I mean, he went from all sorts of shit, right? He was beaten up. He was put in a fucking suitcase. He was,
his hair salon
propositioned
was
to,
burned
like,
down.
kill
His dick
somebody.
didn't work. His
Yeah,
wife
yeah,
kicked him out of the
right.
country.
I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this guy's life is all over the place. So yeah, I thought the story was interesting, but I don't know if I was kind of left like not satisfied at the end a little bit. And I thought there wasn't as much like cool artsy stuff that really grabbed me. So
Yeah,
I didn't dislike it. When I saw the trailer, I will say I was like, fuck, this is gonna suck.
Oh,
bad trailer.
And then, I watched the trailer first last night because I was going to see if I wanted to watch it with someone else. And then I watched the trailer. I was like, nope, we're not fucking watching this tonight. So I watched it today during the day by myself. And that was the right call. But
Okay.
I thought it was better than the trailer let it out to be. So there was a lot going on. I thought some of the scenery was cool. The actors, wasn't impressed. It wasn't blown away by any of them like I was the woman in the last one. So yeah, I mean, this one's kind of like mediocre.
What was this movie about, TC?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the problem I have with this movie.
Yeah,
What is this
Yeah.
movie
I'm not
about?
sure.
Because the
the
first
story
one
is
blew-
all premise. I don't think much happens.
right,
really.
and the premise is like ridiculous. Like I didn't buy the
Right.
story
I mean,
for a
they
second.
this sort of weird love-hate thing where she leaves
Yeah.
him because he can't have sex with her.
Right, that premise by
Um,
itself is just absolutely absurd. Like she has no feelings for him because she can't have
Well,
sex with him.
or,
And
or
as soon
she
as-
doesn't, but
and
but
she does have feelings for him,
right. But she
he
just sort of like
doesn't,
wants
and-
to destroy him.
Right, it's either
because
Yeah.
his
she-
dick works and she wants to marry him, or his dick doesn't work and she wants him to go to prison and burn his fucking shit down.
Right.
Like what the hell?
Right.
But I
Yeah.
know. I was confused by some of that.
I think that's really hard.
Also,
I
I
think that,
have one gripe that I want to ask you both
All right.
is, what exactly was she signing from
Nope.
the window?
Yep, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Why was he crying?
what
Yeah, at the
she
end.
said.
she's like
Okay,
putting the
'cause
wedding ring back on her finger. I thought that
was one- the
thing.
one thing
Like,
that I
I
got.
got on a walk.
I thought she was
She's
gonna, like,
going on the walk.
kill herself.
What about
Yeah.
this? What's this? Isn't this like
Yeah.
I thought it was like,
Is
fuck
this
you.
the rope?
fuck
Is it the
you.
rope?
I know.
Is
I
it the
thought
fuck
she,
you? Yeah, I don't know what it is.
We're doing
I was
fist bump
confused by
symbol.
that.
You bump your fist
Yeah, I
sideways
don't know.
together.
So
That's
she-
what that is.
Towards so yeah, I mean, when the end of the film, he sees her in prison, and she just makes signs to him, indicating. I looked it up on the Wikipedia.
Yeah, no,
It
shut up,
says-
shut up, John.
well,
Shut
yeah,
up,
but that's
shut
what
the hell
I'm
up,
saying.
John, because I listened
Yeah,
to the
yeah, you
commentary
don't know
track
that.
and I know what they intended as well.
Good,
But
good. Oh, good.
Right,
holy
but I
crap.
mean, you didn't know.
You did
Wait,
not
so
know.
what
I had
did
no
they?
idea.
So
Yeah.
okay, hold. What did they intend then? Because we can skip this one for trivia for now, because I want to know now.
Okay.
Because that was like at the end of the movie, and it's like the whole thing rides on that last couple shots.
Right. So
Yeah.
Julie Delpy was talking about what she intended, because I don't know if she improv'd it or not, but there was an interview with her, and I can only speak to like one little part of it. But she said this thing, when she goes like that, is like
And
when,
moves
when,
her fists together.
when I break out, it's supposed to be breaking out. So like when she gets
when
out
I
of
break out of
prison,
it- when I break
then
out of prison.
she does like a little circle. We
Oh, I
can
see.
fly away together, which is supposed to be
I see.
them leaving
and then
and
re-get
flying.
married.
And then that later on, they re-get married. Yeah.
Oh,
Like we
so
put the re- I
I
see.
thought it was you should confess.
You should fuck right off.
so that I get out and you come in here. That's what I thought. Yeah. I was so confused by that whole exchange,
Yep.
and it was the last thing of the movie, basically, and I just didn't really. That's
This guy
where I
really
left kind of
fucks the endings up for these movies.
unsatisfied. Yeah, I was not, or dissatisfied. I was just not. I just left not learning much about what the people were supposed to be like. So neither of them change, and they both just suck. Cool.
I guess. I didn't think he sucked until I realized that his whole plan was not to get her to come see him because he was in love with her, but to freaking destroy her for revenge. That was
But
weird.
that was the way to get her
was
back
weird.
because their relationship is so messed up. Or
I guess, but
right?
did we know that before this?
No, I don't
No.
know.
You know
If
what I
we
said
knew
to
that
myself
they
though?
seem to.
Sorry.
Is why didn't he fucking save some money for himself at least?
Oh,
Like
he
the
did a little,
motivations,
maybe.
the motivations for some of the decisions he was making didn't make any sense as far as
throughout.
like,
Not some.
Yeah,
all.
right.
All the decisions basically throughout.
and
was
it wasn't
why?
like, I mean, I guess they kind of tried to make him look a little crazy because he was looking through his comb and like maybe he had just
I didn't
lost
get
it,
what
but
that
I
was
wasn't
supposed to
buying
be.
that either.
I thought that was
I
just him
wasn't
being
buying
like
that either.
thoughtful and thinking about his
Yeah,
art
yeah.
as a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen. Have you guys seen comb playing before? That was new.
I've seen comb playing.
I
I've
know.
done comb playing. Oh boy.
Have you done comb playing?
Oh,
comb
big
playing.
time.
I didn't know about comb
he's
playing.
a comb
I
player.
used to be a big
guys.
time
Oh,
comb
yeah.
player.
And you come from a
Oh.
long line of comb player. Daddy
do.
played you.
Yeah, he taught me how to
Daddy
comb play.
taught you on your knee.
Long line of comb players. Yeah. Mhm. You ever just play a good comb on a Sat D?
I don't know. Can I go second? I kind of took over there, John.
Yeah.
I think
go
I've
ahead.
had some of the
I'm
same
finished.
TC, you got more though?
I mean, not really. As far as I think that the story was kind of chaotic, so it was hard to, the premises were cool. I thought that they were, like, hey, had my attention. Put it that way. But by the end of the story, I was kind of left unsatisfied.
I think I'm in the exact same boat. Yeah, I mean, I can't say I wasn't like interested with a lot of the scenes. I thought some of the scenes were like done really well when he gets stolen in the suitcase and it's just like a bunch of thugs that steal suitcases, like get him out and kind of beat him up. Like I thought that was pretty unique.
I liked the guy that fell down the thing. That looked real as hell and looked like it hurt when they punched him and then he fell down. I was like,
That looked like a
that
real
guy
stunt.
actually went down that hill like that, and it did not look fun.
Yep. And even the main actor, if it wasn't him, he like was face down in the snow. That was like real snow and he had like the blood on his face and stuff. Some of that stuff looked pretty good.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't think of any other story where there's so many parts going on at the same time. Like I was just going back through and like describing the plot to myself, and it's all over the place. Like it's really just bounces. It sounds like someone with ADD is coming up with like a bunch of ideas and cramming them into a movie without thinking about how they go together at all, but just sticking them together in a linear way. I actually had thoughts of like old black and white movies and watching the special features. They talked about how they used Charlie Chaplin movies as like a template for what they wanted to do here. And they showed like some specific shots about how the actor would stand and act like Charlie Chaplin, which is
really,
when he gets the gun, he like points the gun in his face in a funny way, and then he kind of stands with his legs spread out and kind of does weird little jiggles. And
well, I wasn't really aware of what that was.
I wasn't seeing
it's
that
supposed to be
as
funny. It's what it's,
I wasn't seeing it as funny.
Nope. Just
okay.
odd.
Yeah, sort of, or it's just not enough. It just wasn't. I don't know whether it's how they were doing it or what they had him do or the actor himself or some combination of all of it, but it just not much came across from him.
Yeah.
So whether he was trying to, I mean, I didn't know, it wasn't clear to me that was comedy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because he wasn't being funny any other moments.
Yeah.
Right. Like he wasn't being a comedian. He was fucking getting destroyed. So nothing really he was doing was really funny. And then all of a sudden he was like, being Mr. Comedian to the other guy too, and like trying to think things through weird. I mean, I don't know. He was all over the place. You're right, Denny. I mean, it felt like
to me like a lot of the. I mean, the only reason that I think it holds together in any way is that the transitions between the weird different things that happen in this movie, they transition okay. Like the end of one scene kind of goes to the beginning of the next scene pretty smoothly, even though those two scenes might be totally disconnected. Right? Like one scene, he's being crammed. Like he meets a guy in a subway. They get drunk. He cuts his hair. He crams them into the suitcase. The suitcase gets stolen. He flies over, gets beat up by a bunch of thugs. He walks home. His brother's a barber. He goes back to being a barber again. He's like, fuck. And then he gets in with like gangsters for some reason. And then he steals the money from his brother and steals the land from the gangsters, sells the thing back to the gangsters. And now he's like a big businessman. Like, what the hell is going on? I didn't get a sense of the character at all.
No, but even more is in why.
Why?
Right? Like, what's going on and why?
I think I know what the why is, or at least what they made the why. So what they wanted to do in this movie is make a comedy, but there was an interview with the director about halfway through the shoot where he's like, I don't think this is going to be funny. And then he corrected himself. He's like, I don't think it's going to be funny in the way where the audience is going to laugh. I was like, that's what funny is, man. But then he says it's going to be a, what did he say? He said it's going to be a lyrical comedy or a sad comedy. That's what we're going to go with.
I see.
So
okay.
that's what he turned it into as they realized what they were making wasn't actually funny.
This isn't funny. That's not
guys.
What
So
we're
it
going
turns
for.
out
That's
this
okay.
sucks. So we need to switch.
We're not going for funny. We're doing something else. You said we were going to be funny. No, I mean a different kind of funny.
Well, the definition of funny is objective or subjective, right? I mean,
there's lots of funny. Don't worry. I was trying to think of like, can you be art house and funny? Is there an art house comedy?
If it's bad enough, it can be pretty funny.
I guess. Well, that's like
right. But not on purpose.
Then it's not. Yeah. But I mean, like, can you try to go for that kind of style that I was thinking we were going to get from this film after the last one, and have there be. I mean, you'd have moments of comedy maybe in them, but yeah,
I can't think of any because comedy isn't pretentious, right? And art house is like inherently pretentious.
Right, that's true.
Can you be funny and pretentious at the same time? I don't think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
You think probably or probably not?
I think probably.
Can you think of anything?
No.
I can't either. But part of what the movie is like supposed to be about, according to them, or what they've ended up saying it was about, was the post-Soviet Union Poland. And those themes, as they went through them, like kind of make sense in a way. Like if you have someone explain it to you as you're watching the movie, you can see how like it's the overall theme is like how Poland is changing.
Okay.
Since the break of the Soviet Union sort of thing. And I'm not a history buff, right? And like, I don't really try to pay attention to that sort of stuff. I don't really know Polish history. So like all that stuff is just kind of totally over my head. But like if you do know it, you might relate to it more.
Maybe. I mean, I did like the one sort of time where I think I did sort of laugh a little was, he gets beat up by the guys that are the suitcase stealing guys and thrown down the hill. And then he's like, I'm back home. Is this home?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, he just got beat up and he's like looking at a trash dump
And he's happy to see that the brother got a sign.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
that's-
it's like a whole different movie. And you're like, what is going on here?
Yep. Well, it's supposed to be how, like, talking about the history and the the underlying themes is that post-communist Poland was now trying to become Europe, like they were aimed to become part of like the European Union, I guess. So that's like that sign there is kind of like, hey, look at history stuff. It's happening now. Yeah.
For all the listeners out there, I yawned.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what this movie's about. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's all the stuff that makes TC and myself yawn.
Yawn.
That's what at least all these, guys who write essays about this type of stuff are coming to conclusion on. Because otherwise it's just a jumbled mess of very strange scenes with weird characters. Anyway, John, what did you think?
I mostly, again, just echoing everything I think you guys said. I think I didn't have the motivations of the characters didn't make sense. So that made it hard to really feel anchored in what he was doing, because his relationship didn't make sense. In contrast with, watching Blue, she loses her kid and her husband, and she's coping with it immediately. You're along for that. That all makes, it's maybe too easy sense, I guess, but it makes sense. This relationship they have. I mean, I was thinking, I guess there's the stereotypical French romance where it's kind of, you want to kill each other, but you love each other. Like the little scene in Ratatouille where the rat's like scurrying over the apartment, and there's this one couple that are fighting, and then one pulls out a gun and shoots her and misses, and then they like stop stunned, and then they like kiss passionately. That's what this maybe, that kind of like, I don't know, that sort of violent love kind of thing. But it still, it made no sense. And I really don't think the actor, again, maybe to try to be fair to him, maybe he wasn't given much to do, but man, he just sort of looked the same all the time. I didn't see much going on, it felt like, in terms of what his emotions were. Maybe that also kind of made it hard. He just looked like a sort of like roughed up Jimmy Kimmel to me. So, I mean, he just sort of, just a good guy, sort of likable in the way he looked, but it just, I didn't see him feeling much. I mean, even like in contrast, Nikolai was more interesting to watch. His character was more interesting when he came on. I was more interested at that point when Nikolai came on. So, and I like their interactions. And I think that like when he meets him in the subway and they're talking, I thought that was more interesting. That I was more engaged in that sort of thing once his character came on and they were interacting. But
then were you confused about like the scene where he asked him to kill him and then he shoots the blank and like that whole scene?
Yeah. Like what did he plan? If he would have if Carol, the main character, had somehow anticipated that this is what Nikolai was the one who was going to kill, then maybe it makes some kind of sense that he planned ahead and put the blank in the gun. But he had no idea.
That's what I thought.
Right? But I don't know.
That whole scene was interesting, but it made zero sense.
But when did the blank
get introduced?
Up
to this point, I was thinking Nikolai was going to have him kill somebody who actually didn't want to be killed. It was going to be a hit job.
Maybe that's what he was going to do to the guy too, to fake him out and say like, "Do you still want me to do this?" He would have done it to anybody, I guess.
Oh, maybe. Danny, that's good. That's right. So just to make sure that he was. There you go, Danny. That was.
I got it.
But anyway,
do you like the movie?
I guess you did. You
like
cracked that.
No, but
it didn't really change much for him.
And also, it doesn't like. I mean, the other part of it's like, it's cool that he fools the mob guys the way he does, but they'll just go kill your family.
The whole thing.
I mean,
right?
they
wouldn't just say, no
so
problem.
Stupid. The setup of that is
Deal.
that he's the bodyguard and he's asleep in the back of the car and they're making fun. Like that whole scene was so stupid. It's like, why would the bodyguard be asleep? And they're like, they're paying this guy. What the fuck?
I know, right? Good point. And then when they don't just the mob guys don't be like, you got us. Okay, we'll give you all that money. No,
right. They're not going to be like, what? That's good. The only thing I was thinking there is that they would think to themselves, hey, this actually would just be easier to get it over with. Hey, here's your fucking money, whatever. Because the other guy probably would have been a lot more difficult to get out.
Maybe.
So they knew he was going to sell. That's all they need, right?
TC, you're really helping me with this one.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Between you two.
We're trying to bail this one out from the.
I like the resolution of that because it was like realistic mob guys. Like, what if you have this new Poland again, going back to this fresh thing where there's like less government and like the mobs are starting to come up. It's fresh, right? These people aren't professionals. They're in a new
amateur
area.
mob guys.
Right.
They're like, you got us. That's,
Yeah. I mean, they're mob guys, but they
We're
have
like,
like
hey,
a
we
trailer.
respect you for being
Right.
a con artist too.
Yeah,
yeah.
Here's your fucking
Okay.
$4,000.
But I
Not
just
all
think, like,
mobsters
yeah.
are crazy murderers at this point,
Right.
right?
No, they haven't worked up to it yet.
Right.
You know, because you'd think like the normal mob guys would be like, okay, so
No, this is the point where you have 1,000 regular mob guys, but then like in
Right.
10 years, the two crazy mob guys will have killed all the other mob
right, then
guys.
they
and you
would
got
have
the
risen
two
up,
crazy murdering mob guys.
Or just they're seasoned, you know.
That
so
movie sounds
yeah.
way more interesting than this.
Yeah. Because they could be like, you know, like, oh, okay, so if you die, all the money goes to the church. But what if we kill your brother over here? I mean, it's just like you think the mob guys would just be like, yeah, all these fucking Scorsese movies. I know how these mob guys work. They'll feel bad about it later as they grow old, but not now. They're gonna do bad things. Anyway.
No,
yeah.
I mean, really, I there was that one scene for me was actually very like, what was that? I think
I
they
like that scene. The
They
choking
just
scene.
needed it. They just needed it to get the money in his hands. so he
Which
could
one
do stuff.
exactly? Sorry.
When the mobsters and he got stole the money and then they were out and having that conversation. They
Oh,
literally
yeah.
needed
In
that
the car in
conversation.
the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
to get him to have the money. Like
Right.
it had
Yeah,
to
yeah.
happen. It was such
Yeah,
a
yeah.
functional scene.
Right.
It wasn't very.
It drove
they-
the rest of the plot. And they're like, well,
they drove
this isn't
in
a great
there.
scene, but we have to have it.
Yeah, but we
Right.
have to have it because otherwise there's no way to get him the money.
Yeah.
Right.
I felt like that was the entire movie. Like every scene was like, well, it's kind of weird, but we have to have it because we're going here next. And if
This
we
is
remove
what's gonna
this,
happen.
we can't get there, right? We have to have
Right.
all these weird fucking things one after the
Yeah.
other because they all lead into each other. And we already wrote this down, so we can't
Right.
take it out. We're fucked.
Right.
We got to make
Right.
the movie, guys.
We're fucked.
Yep.
We already have the
That's
funding.
what we got.
I did like
Pretty
the
much.
scene where the guy was being choked, though. I thought that was a very convincing choke, like
Oh,
a
again,
gangster
Mhm.
choke.
Mhm.
Parts of these in the scenes, it's well done in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
I mean, like you said, the composition, the shots, the acting, other than sometimes the emotions not really being there, but maybe again, as the actor, they're confused. Is this a comedy? What is this? But you're right. There's a lot of good composition shots and a lot the action when the action needs to be there is done well. I didn't hate it or anything. I kind of I got more perked up as things were happening, and it got interesting as he gets his business, and even there just was more going on.
It just it's
Certainly
just that
faster.
it's just it keeps going and then plateaus and then doesn't do anything and just fizzles out.
Yeah. And he
His brother comes
So-
in. He's like, "Hey, can you cut 10 heads this week? Come on,
Yeah.
how about 5, 7?
Hey,
and
guy,
you got
I
a
just
deal."
need 10
Right.
heads
And it would
over
be neat if
here.
something was done with that. Here's this
Old
guy,
Miss Martha across the street.
yeah.
needs a haircut.
look,
Come on.
she needs a cut. You know how to
Kinda-
do it.
But it's kind of cool to think of some guy who's like really good at haircutting and what that's like.
I think it's
and
just
But
his
even
brother
that is
sucks at
ridiculous.
haircutting.
yeah,
He was the only one that
maybe
cuts
he
They
hair.
don't
actually
want me
sucks.
no more.
Yeah, they don't want me. I keep chopping off their ears.
Yeah.
They're like, what? You got 2. Anyway,
Ay.
but
Good joke, John. It's a haircutting joke. But yeah, this movie starts off like so let's compare it to Blue, which we're coming off of. And I'm sure we all compared it to that.
I
that,
did.
that movie
Very much
starts
so.
off with some very cool shots, some very mysterious shots of a car.
Well, this
and
one
a
I
very
was excited.
serious.
I was-
Let's shut up, John. And then we
And
go
then-
to a very serious
No, let him
car
finish.
crash scene. And then we're intrigued,
Yes.
and then we go straight to the scene of her recovering. And it's all very artistic and it's very heavy
Yes.
and it's very realistically done and it makes sense narratively and the acting makes sense and everything is good and
Yep.
all of that is good. In this movie, it
Yes.
starts with like a trial scene where
Wait,
it's the
no,
judge.
no, we have the suitcase first.
Right,
We have the
suitcase, sorry,
in
that
the
doesn't
very
really
first,
count 'cause
Which I
that's
was
just confusing.
excited. I know, but I was excited at first because we were
Okay.
like following the suitcase through that's what I got excited about. You told me to shut up, but I'm
I
excited.
did tell you to shut up because I was in the
But
middle
I
of
You
was
need
talking
to
talking
shut
about-
up
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
right. It's okay.
Suitcase, you got it. What I'm talking about is
Suitcase.
what,
But
the
no,
hook,
wait, let me
the hook
finish
of the
this.
narrative. No, I'm in the middle of saying something.
No,
in the middle
okay,
of the,
fine.
in the hook of the narrative is them in the courtroom and the judge, like
Right.
them having a conversation and the judge being involved of whether or not they fucked as a married couple.
I mean,
And
that was ridiculous.
Is
Yeah.
so ridiculous that like
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Did judges actually do this in France? I don't think so.
Think
I'm going to
so.
give
No
France
way.
the benefit of
I
the
doubt.
doubt where judges
Yeah,
don't
right.
get into this conversation. This is fucking stupid, right? And this is the whole
Yeah.
basis of the movie.
Yeah.
And then it kind of jumps to, then what does he do? He like runs away. All of his credit cards have to get cut up. Didn't buy that. How the fuck does she have control of that? Maybe she did, but like I didn't buy it at the time. And then he's on the run and he goes
Yeah.
and she tries to fuck him. He can't get it up again, even though he did for a minute. She gets instantly pissed off, burns the place down that they're standing in, tells him that she's going to stick the cops on him. Like that's the beginning of the movie. None of that makes any sense, right? That's like the
Right.
first 10 minutes of the movie and there's no
Right.
hook. And then the rest of the time, you're just like, what the fuck is this? Right? Because it
No,
doesn't
that
ever
was
really
the hook.
change.
But it was
Yeah.
all premise.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's like a
Yeah.
huge difference between the two. Just like how they begin and,
You know, it was. I mean, and the only thing I've noticed was that they had the very close-up beginning, right? So they had the close-up of the brake line in blue, and then in this one they had the close-up of the suitcase. So like, it started out the same.
John wants to talk about the suitcase.
No. So I was like, okay. Now at least I know that there's some parody here. And then the old guy with the bottle, well, he's still there.
Oh yeah, you like that? Your favorite part of Blue came back.
I was like, motherfucker, he was back. Hey, he's still putting bottles.
It was a woman and not a guy. It's an old lady.
Whoever it is.
He's like sitting outside of the same coffee shop that Juliette Binoche is. They're seeing the same scene.
I love it. I loved
too.
that. I thought it was
That
good.
was
So
cool.
then obviously you're gonna compare because I started comparing immediately,
Mhm.
you know, and then it just
I was
didn't-
comparing
it
the whole
didn't-
time too.
Yeah, it didn't stand up against it. So I'm hoping the next one's real good because this
the next
one
one's the highest rated one and the one that's gotten the most accolades. So
awesome.
Did you notice the woman actor from Blue was in this movie for like a second?
No,
Juliette Binoche was in. No,
Yeah, she was in the court scene where like somebody comes in accidentally to the courtroom and the judge like looks at her and like kind of says like get out, and she turns around and leaves, and it was her.
Oh,
So she
wow.
accidentally
that's when
interrupts.
because she was looking for the mistress in the first movie.
Oh, is
She
that what that
looking-
was?
Yeah,
In a
well, in the
courtroom?
first movie, well, she was trying to track down the
Oh.
mistress because she was related to legal stuff, and she looks in the courtroom, and the judge tells her to get out. So that's where that scene was from.
Okay,
Like, yeah,
makes sense
So it
narratively.
connects.
Yeah.
See, it's cool that it connects. I like that.
yeah, it is cool. Yeah, I like that
Anyway.
too. Can I talk
Well,
the
moving
suitcase?
on. I mean, it was
All right,
cool.
John. What about the suitcase? What do you want to say about the suitcase?
I don't have a lot to say. Just two things. One, I was really excited when the film started because it's like, all right, I'm following the suitcase through like the automated luggage system. That's cool. This is neat. Where are we going to go with this? And then we fucking leave the suitcase for quite a while. Suitcases doesn't come back. Like, it's very strange why we've decided to have the suitcase there. Then all this other stuff. Maybe at the end of the film, he ends up in the suitcase and you're booking in and you're putting a book in there. Okay. But no, maybe like 2/3 of the way in, he's traveling by suitcase.
No, not even that.
Weird.
It's like a quarter of the
Like
way
a third
in.
away, a quarter away. But strange that they would do that. But it was a letdown because I was excited by the film at first. I was like, we're trying. And then I just got more and more puzzled as the courtroom scene unfolded. Yeah. So that's all I want to say. I'm done with the suitcase.
You have anything else to say about the movie in general? You think a human being could pick up an adult human being with one hand in a suitcase? I don't think
Not
so.
really.
Humans are freaking
No.
dense.
Not dead weight like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No chance.
I was really nervous about the suitcase teetering on the stack because I was like, if that guy falls
Oh,
off
that-
there,
that
his
was
neck is
pretty
going to
funny.
break.
Oh,
You're gonna
I
be
know
dead.
that was again another pretty cool shot. I like the suitcase parts, but yeah,
It's like a silent film. It's like an old film. Just imagine some really quirky, weird, old school music in the background. Put black and white on that. I don't have very much more in this movie, guys. So I'm going to go through my notes.
that's okay. Okay,
All
what do you got?
right.
Well, you saw some commentary or a little bit.
So there's no commentary, but there were special features. There was some interesting stuff, but not too much. So set your bars low on the excitement,
Copy.
whatever you have there. What's up with him kissing the statue? Just going through my.
I think he
Movie
thinks it's his
notes.
wife.
He's just lonely. Is that all that was?
Yeah, he misses his wife.
She looked a little. The statue looks
She
a
looked
little like
her.
his wife.
Yeah.
It looks like his profile. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Come on, that's all. What more do you need? I mean, we don't really have much more to go on in terms of why he likes her, other than that she's pretty. So again, it just that's.
What more do you need? It's a movie. Come on.
I know, but
I was confused about where he got the money for the initial purchase of the property. Did he just steal it from his brother?
I guess he might have some, maybe I just assumed he had money set aside. Still had some money like back in the homeland that was set aside. But maybe you're right. Maybe he did steal it from his
I didn't
brother.
get it. I didn't. TC.
He may.
to-
Yeah, I
to-
don't know. I don't know if I even thought about it.
We basically swindled that poor old guy out of a fortune.
Yeah, that seemed pretty easy to do.
I don't know
too.
if I don't know if I even had a clue. I just kind of accepted it.
Yeah.
Moved
Yeah.
on.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's got money. He gave me
That's
that
All
much.
right, he's got money.
He's
Yeah,
got
right.
money.
Exactly.
So wait, so I'm just reading this. He gave all of his ex-wife all of his money, so she's in prison, but she has all of his shit.
Right.
They don't like if you murder your husband for his shit. Do they not like confiscate that? Confiscate?
Well, no, he
Yeah.
gave it to her in the will or whatever. So
right.
it's
But
hers.
if she murdered him, right? That's what the law thinks.
Oh, right. I don't know. Maybe
So, like, if
things
she
reset.
murdered him
maybe
for
he
his
got
money,
his money back.
Right?
Yeah, maybe he got his money back. And he's
But
like,
he's
you're
dead.
in there. Yeah.
So like, who does that go to?
Well, that's what his brother was saying.
Huh.
That his brother was saying
good
they talked
point.
to the lawyer, and the lawyer sees some light at the end of the tunnel. So that I assume that
so they
means they're
might get some of it
negotiating to
back?
get a lot of the money back.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a bunch of questions. I just had a bunch of questions. What was the miming at the end? Break, walk, ring, what?
Yeah.
You're getting it. Break
And
And
out.
then, you know
Wait.
what? I didn't want to rewind and try again.
I
wanted
did.
to see. I wanted to see what you guys thought before I'd bother with it.
I had
again.
zero idea. So I was like, I'm going to rewind
Yeah.
because I have zero idea. And I rewatched
Yeah, I
it
had
once and
no
I was like,
clue.
I have zero idea. This did not
Yeah.
help.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So trivia time. There was a few, 3 special features that I watched. I already talked about a lot of it, how it was about post-communist Poland. And there's a lot of, underlying themes in regards to that in this movie. So you could, basically every scene you could take it as like a commentary on that world at that time. So not going to go over that because I am not knowledgeable in that regard. Julie Delpy was just given the role in this movie. She was actually offered the main role in Blue first, but she read the script and did not relate to the character at all. She had no idea like what was going on with that character, but she read this script and she thought it was really funny. So she went for auditions and the director already knew her and she just got it. She actually went into audition for a previous movie of his, I think like 2 or 3 years before this. And she went in as like a 17-year-old and the guy was like, all right, make a sexy face. And that pissed her off so much because she was like a feminist. She's like, I hate it when directors ask me to like, sexualize myself. So she stuck her finger in her ear and made a stupid face and didn't get the role. But apparently it like, stuck with him enough where a couple of years down the road, he just like offered her a role.
Interesting. I mean, that the Blue was so good with Julia Binoche. I wonder, just trying to think of Julia Delpy in the role instead would have been interesting.
Not as good, I don't think.
Yeah, not as
Probably
good.
It's not her style.
She just couldn't. Yeah, she didn't relate to it at all either. So
So I think I figured out why these movies all look so good.
Why?
The director sits or lays or stands right below the camera lens at all times, and he's a chain smoker.
Oh, wow.
that gives you the fog effect.
It gives you like that nice grainy, uniform color look. If you just have cigarette smoke going up in front of the lens all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't quite believe it until I saw it. They were talking about how he was even laying down during the sex scene underneath the camera, literally laying down with his head right
And just
underneath the
blowing
camera.
smoke?
There was behind the scenes footage of him with his head with a cigarette smoking it, and the lens is like right here, and he's watching
Wow.
them in the sex scene. And he's actually during that scene he has a watch on, and he knows how long he wants to time it out, like he did with the sugar cube, I guess, and from Blue. He knows when he wants the orgasm to happen, so he's like giving her non-verbal cues of like when to moan louder. So like he would have his watch up and then he would open his eyes and point at her, and then she would moan louder. And then when he pointed with like 2 fingers or whatever he did, she moaned the loudest, and that was when like it cut to white and all that stuff. But yeah, underneath the camera at all times with a cigarette in hand.
Wow. What an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
Totally not allowed these days.
But you could
No.
probably put like a smoke machine underneath the camera and have some
Yeah,
type of
maybe.
style.
Yeah, I don't never thought about it. Yeah.
It's pretty cool because I mean maybe that's a part of why these movies look so good, because this one did look good.
And the fact that it's shot on film and
Right.
There, all the other stuff,
Yeah.
lights
Yeah.
and things.
yeah, right. Like the rest of it, good, like, scenic stuff. And yeah, right.
The main actor was trained as a hairdresser for a few weeks.
Oh, nice.
Pretty good, huh? He said the hardest part of that was the scene where he was cutting his drunk buddy's friend down in the subway. He had to make it look convincing without actually cutting any of his like hair off.
Actual hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
The original script was quite different, they said. They didn't go into too much detail, but they did say the ending didn't have the jail scene at the end. It ended with him just completely fucking her over, sending her to prison, faking his own death, and then the movie ending. So the whole thing of him going to prison and them kind of like reconnecting in a weird way, which is what that was supposed to be, was added later to have more of like a positive feel at the end. I can't imagine somebody going in. We watch a lot of movies, right? We're not idiots. I can't imagine someone walking into a theater, seeing that last scene and being like, I get it. I understood what she was getting at. I don't think anyone does that.
I doubt it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you there.
So the last piece of trivia is that this director thinks that filming with more than 2 to 3 people at a time is very difficult for blocking, staging, writing, editing, etc. So that's
All
why
the
there's
things.
all the things.
Yeah.
So like he tries to avoid it as much as possible. So, because he really focuses on like where the extras are in the background during scenes where there are extras. So like those scenes cause him a lot of, anxiety, or did cause him a lot of anxiety. So that's why like these are pretty intimate movies. Why there's always like either just one person's face or like two people in a room, that kind of thing. Just practical reasons right around it,
Because that's his style or what he's willing to deal with.
Yeah.
Makes
That's
sense.
it.
All right.
Cool.
Top 250. Oh, preemptive no.
Yeah.
John?
Yeah. No for me.
No.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I'm glad this wasn't the first one, because then we wouldn't have gotten to watch the
would've-
first
We
one.
probably wouldn't have watched the rest.
Yeah.
I know.
That's true.
Yeah. It's a very good point.
Yeah. So next
Now,
week,
now we've got it.
What do we got?
momentum.
we got it
we're
now.
gonna
I bought
do,
the box
red,
set. We're
red.
fucking doing it, guys. We're doing
Red.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. Three Colors Red, 1994. Same year as this one. Wow. So they did actually end up filming these at the same time.
Okay.
The first thing they shot for all three movies was actually in red. So we'll get to that next week.
Cool.
So yeah, it's pretty much one movie, but
All
Red.
right.
It's on
Good
HBO, I
times.
think,
Part of the trilogy,
right?
yeah.
It's still
Yep,
all three
still
are on
there.
HBO.
HBO. It's on Max.
It's on Max. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's Max.
It's
I'm
back
going to
now.
call it HBO
Yeah,
forever. I
I know,
refuse
right?
to change.
Yeah, and it'll be like how you know how old you are.
Right.
It'll be like, yeah, he'll be like, oh, he still calls it HBO,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, that's right. Fuck you.
That's right. It was HBO when The Sopranos were on.
All right, let's cross our fingers for this one, guys.
All right.
All right.
And then after that, we
See
can
you
look
later.
for either way. We got Indiana Jones coming up, so that's good.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you guys
All
next
right.
week.
All right, guys, take care.
Stop 'em.